Welcome to episode 1 of Innovate 33, the podcast. I'm so excited to be having this conversation on camera. I'm so excited to be doing this. Innovate 33 is a VC fund that I'm starting, and Innovate 33, the podcast, is an extension of that because I really want to create a space where us as women, Black women, women of color, can come together and have real conversations about establishing wealth for the future for ourselves and for our families. It's statistically proven that women make up 30% of investors, but less than 1% of those investors are Black women. So Innovate 33 is all about changing that narrative, and I'm super excited to be on today and to be having this conversation. And I want to welcome our first guest, Miss Rhea Whitney, one of the best Houston and U.S. wedding and portrait photographers. She has been in the industry over a decade, leading and pioneering and really changing the game. She also has a coaching platform called Elevate, where she's teaching other CEOs how to elevate and really spearhead and just take their businesses to the new level. So welcome, Miss Rhea Whitney. I'm so excited to have you.
Oh, I love this. Thank you so much for having me. And congratulations on the launch of this podcast. This is going to be really, really fun.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm super excited.
Welcome.
So Ray and I have known each other offline. When I say offline, I mean off camera. And
Yes.
we, let me get rid of the corporate jargon.
Yes. Yes.
We,
No, it's okay. Use it, honey. Yes, we love it.
and we always have conversations about the importance of investing. And we talk, stocks and trades and ideas and stuff like that. Before we get into conversation, though, I want to do a full disclaimer. We are not financial advisors. We are not making recommendations on what people should do with their money.
Yes.
But we are going to talk about just the real life of it, the importance of it, and, executing and being boss women CEOs as Black women in the experience of it all. So I'm ready to dive into conversation.
Yes,
You
this
ready?
should be really good. This should be
Okay.
really good.
Awesome, awesome. All right, Miss Rhea Whitney. So, as a CEO of your own business and creating other CEOs, what has been your thought process thus far on just creating that future wealth and what to do with your money?
Yes, being like a coach and an educator in the photography industry, I really work with other creatives in their business. And one thing that I noticed is that a lot of creatives don't like to talk about money and like the long term kind of planning and implementation of just securing their own future. And that's just one
Mm-hmm.
thing that I'm really adamant about
Mm-hmm.
is putting in place, us putting in place some practices and not being scared of investing and, really understanding what it's going to take to secure their long-term future, especially as a full-time CEO and small business owner. Like, I don't have anybody that has a 401k fund or, that is matching my contribution in any way. And so it's really important to start early with setting aside money and just having practices that can help support your long-term savings and investing and retirement building in a sense. And so I'm big on that. I'm big on just understanding what that means and what it takes. And again, for creatives not to feel so scared around the concept, because you'd be surprised. People are just like, oh no, I'm not playing with that stock market, and it's just like, that is such a not the
Yeah.
right mentality to have, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a big risk. I want to touch on something you said though. The fear.
Yes.
Throughout my conversations, the fear is crippling.
Yeah.
And I think it's really embedded in our ancestral history and relationship with money.
Absolutely, absolutely. I feel like a lot of times, especially women of color of African American descent, like we weren't taught anything about the stock market. We weren't. Maybe we didn't even see our parents or any of our family members really talking about trades and ETFs and index funds. And even if they had that in place, it wasn't a conversation. It wasn't something that was like learned and taught. It's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like I hear people refer to the stock market as if it's like gambling.
Okay, let's get into it.
Okay.
The stock market is gambling.
See, I don't think it's like gambling as in we're going to the, the roulette table and they're rolling the ball and seeing what number it's going to land on and if
100%,
you hit red or
100%.
black. I don't
Right.
think it's like that, right?
No,
Like,
no.
I don't believe that the odds are not in our favor. I think that the stock market is public companies that are allow shareholders to invest in their ongoing profits of a business, and there's so many ways to become investors in that, whether you buy individual stocks or you're getting into index funds that are managed funds, and these funds, people manage this money,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
these companies are publicly traded because of they have they're producing profits, and
Yeah.
so I don't think of it as such a gamble. I think of it as, the wealthiest people, the richest people in our nation, they are investors and traders, and
Yeah.
it's historical data that you can track and see. And a lot of it, I just think about like how we spend money, Targets and Home Depots and the Walmarts and the Nike and the Louis Vuitton, like whatever, all of these companies that we're speaking of and we spend money easily as consumers are companies that you can actually purchase a piece of ownership, in the market. So I don't look at it as a gamble. I think there are ways to gamble, like options. Now we're getting into a little bit more gambling,
A
but
little risky.
a little risky, but even then, like if you understand charts and, all of that, all of the technical pieces that goes into it,
And
you
I-
kind of
yeah.
take the gamble out,
I think that's like the key component that people are missing. It's a gamble when you don't do your research.
Yes.
It's a gamble when you don't know your facts.
Yes.
It's a gamble when you don't know what you're searching for.
Yeah.
Right? So when you have individuals who are advising or
Yeah.
giving advice or saying that they do something, there's certain boxes that they need to tick in inspection points that
Yeah.
I don't want to say expert because we're always continuously learning, but someone that knows what they're doing is going to be able to answer key questions.
No.
And if they don't, then you have a risk, right? Like if they
Yeah.
don't, you need to run. And so what's funny about statistically, women, we will do all of the research. We will research. We will know our facts. We'll know facts. We are like FBI agents. Okay?
Yes.
We
Oh,
will
we gonna
find
figure it
out
out.
the facts. But the 80% of women won't take the action, right? We'll do all the research, but we won't make the decision. We won't take the action.
That's so true.
That's the part. Yeah, that's the part because we'll have all the facts. Unlike, some people who just throw it
jump
out
on
there.
in. Yeah.
We'll have all the facts, but then we won't take the action. And I think that it's so much. 37% of people have responded to a survey from CNBC Women Wealth that is just way too much information. They feel overwhelmed by how much information is really out, how much information is out there. I mean, we're in the age of information, right?
Yeah, we are.
We're in the age of a lot of false information.
Yeah.
And so it's very hard for people nowadays to feel comfortable that the information that they're looking at is right.
Yes. Yeah.
And then therefore can make a decision, right?
No,
about
1,000%. And I
Yeah.
think about people who jump on plays or trades because it's like popular on social media, right? Like you think of like the GameStop or what was some of the other big ones that have happened, and they had these like crazy runs, not because of like actual numbers and data, but because of like retail consumers running up a stock. Now that's when that's when we get into the gambling. That's when we're getting into like risky business, and it's
Because
not
at that
really,
point you're too late. Like if it's public
too
like
late.
that, you're already too late.
You're too late.
You're too late. 100%.
Yeah, and to me, that's not how you go about securing your long-term future wealth building journey. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just kind of throwing money at the wall and seeing if it sticks, and most of the time it won't, right? But I do think that, investing and trading, and you don't even have to know all of the things, but I love ETFs and index funds that are
Hmm.
managed funds. This is people's whole job every day is to keep the funds rate of return at a certain level, and do research on how, the top holdings of the fund, and sell these funds to their investors. And so when you understand that, even in the slightest bit, and you could invest in these funds, and ride the waves of these managed funds. I'm like, that is that is how we are talking about,
Yeah.
securing some good returns for yourself over the years.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I love, to me, I'm like, let me get a specialist, okay? Because
Yes. Yeah.
I'm all about a specialist. If I don't know, honey, I'm going to ask,
Yeah. Go
okay?
find somebody that can help you.
And
Yeah.
it's
I
a
love
good way
that.
to say, get somebody else to do it.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Because, like, it's, first of all, there's a lot of things that, you can play with. Not my money, okay?
Okay. Please don't. Yeah. Not. Please don't play with the money. No, a thousand
Please.
percent. But like, okay, thinking about a specialist, I think about like my dad, and
Hmm.
he has had money on the soccer market all my life, but so much has changed between how he invests in trades and like what's available for us to invest in trade. He has, the financial advisors, and um back in the day, you couldn't even make trades on your own. Like
Right,
you had to
right.
make a
You
phone
had
call
to.
for them,
Hmm.
and
You sitting in them
really,
slips. They had a whole, yes,
yeah,
I remember that. Hmm.
and trusting in whatever advice that this advisor was giving you, and now I think there's a lot of freedom. Like we're able to open a Fidelity account or a Robinhood account or whatever, and
Hmm.
buy you some shares, and do your own research. And I feel like, so I'm all about a specialist too, but I do believe that like my specifically my parents, their generation, I think that in some ways they kind of got what's the word? I don't want to say misled, but they kind of got gypped off, because I think that like just trusting in someone else's opinion for your entire investment is, to me, is a little risky. That's my
100%. a
okay.
hundred percent. a hundred
Yeah.
percent. Yeah, that's not the wrong word. Misled. I mean, let's think
Yeah.
about historically, and let's think about like just a shift from generation to generation, what we have
Yes.
access and knowledge to do, right?
Mm.
Look, I'm about to age myself. Ooh, Lord. I'm 37 and love it, okay? But
Mhm.
I'm the first one in my family to even understand what investing and really talk about investing, and come to my family and say, we need to put our money together to do X. We need to, we need this minimum to really make a move here, right?
Yes.
And I'm 37. My
Mhm.
dad, his, like, had no idea.
Hmm.
So to say generationally how this country is notoriously trying to oppress our people
Yeah.
systematically, all the things, for us, that is a major setback. They weren't
Yeah.
trying to reveal the secrets. You know what I'm saying? Like
They weren't.
they
Yeah.
weren't trying to, and by they I mean the Afro the unnamed powers that be, right? Like
Yeah.
we were not in those rooms. We're not at, we did not have a seat at the table, and we've been making progress since then. But there's
Yeah.
still so many things that, so many kind of mechanisms and ways to generate wealth that we are intentionally kept from. So
Oh
100%
my
that
gosh.
statement, yeah,
Yes.
100% that statement is accurate. Like
Yeah.
let's not, one thing we're gonna be on this podcast is 100% real, and
Real.
let's not
Yeah.
play games. That is
Yeah.
100% intentional. Which is another reason why we're kicking off this platform, is because we need to have the conversations, to share the information, to say it out loud, right? Like it's
Yeah.
not a secret. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it needs to be discussed out
It
loud.
should not absolutely be a secret. This should
Yeah.
be, I mean, I truly believe that this should be taught more in, I'm not even going to say college. I'm saying high school. Like people should really understand more about investing, really challenge younger people to start putting, even if it's just a couple bucks, you know what I'm saying? Like imagine, you know, imagine investing in the technology sector in the early, 90s and 2000s. Like, what? Like, people literally are millionaires, but we still have a lot of opportunity to, in my opinion, right at our fingertips as well, right? Like, we're entering
100%.
in an age of AI.
100%. 100%.
Baby, and AI, as far as the stock market, hasn't even taken off the way that is going to, right?
You don't
So
think so?
I mean, maybe you're gonna tell me something that I don't know. Because and again, I'm an ETF, an index girl, right?
Yeah.
Like, I like individual stocks. When I'm thinking about long term,
Yeah.
I'm a low risk, go climb slow type of girl. You know what I'm
Crawl.
saying?
Yeah, crawl before you run.
Crawl before you run. So I love an index fund or ETF where I can, like, again, these managed funds where I can buy into a specific sector, and kind of ride the wave until the long term is what I'm thinking. And so
Yeah.
I've had my eyes on some AI like funds.
ETFs.
Yeah, but I don't think that they've done the numbers the way they're going to do numbers. I don't know.
Oh, 100%. So I didn't say this at the beginning. I've been I've been an executive at a Fortune 5 tech company for over a decade. So I love all things AI and tech. That's my background.
Yes.
AI is at the cusp.
It's at the cusp.
At the cusp.
We have another
okay?
opportunity in the same way that we had the
100%.
opportunity for
Yes.
tech. We got another
But
opportunity
here's
right
the
in front of our eyes.
plot twist. Here's where
Okay.
it gets AI itself is not tangible. It is a algorithm. Artificial intelligence is an algorithm, right? You can't tangibly have an algorithm, so it's not like you're gonna have 100 AI building somewhere.
Right.
What I think, my opinion, I am not an expert.
Yes.
But my opinion is AI is changing the game where these companies are going to be able to operate less, right?
Yes.
So you have your cost of sale, and then you have your other expenses from a business perspective.
Yeah.
Right now, for the next 3 years, companies are going to be optimizing, right?
Yeah.
So let's call a spade a spade. We know that means getting rid of people. We know that, right?
Yeah.
So you're automating tasks. You are clearing your call centers. You're building cloud-based call centers.
Yeah.
Because these algorithms are learning how to sound like humans.
Yes, they are.
So you don't even need an actual person to put in a building, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a building. You don't need an actual person. And so you're reducing your cost of sale.
Yeah.
So then now in 3 to 4 or 5 years, what you're going to start to, the outcomes of AI's revenue push will not be what people think it is. The AI companies themselves, like Nvidia, insane, right? What's been happening with Nvidia.
Yeah.
The companies that have the revenue to invest, because AI is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
The companies that have the revenue to invest will see the benefit through a reduced cost of sale.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And so now my profits are larger. Now you know what I mean? So now my shareholders are happier because my dividends are larger, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the long-term play. And I think people have a misconception on what that is.
Yeah.
Or what those that boom will be like. So I 100% agree with what you're saying. It hasn't happened yet. Because right now, what we're seeing is companies like Nvidia, for example, who are making the chips, right, to compute, right? You have your Amazons, your Microsofts, your Googles, who are building these foundational models and saying, hey, company, we've already built it. Let's test it on what you need it for to see if it works, right? Everyone's in testing phase right now.
Yeah, they are. They are. Yeah.
But they figured it out pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, no,
right?
it's
They're
changing.
figuring it out pretty quick. And so we're going to see over the next 2 to 3 years that chain within a regular business type of setting. That's how you're going to see. Yes, I firmly believe that. Like, the more I study it and understand it, I read about it all the time. I think that's how it's going to show itself. I think that's going to be the result. So I always recommend people be very cautious of chasing companies that use AI versus the companies that own it. Especially right now.
Different softwares.
Especially right now, right? The startup world, everyone's AI, right? AI is a buzzword. No. Don't chase the buzzwords. really look to see what they're doing. Are they a chip manufacturer, right? Are they a chip? The U.S. is putting what $40 billion into building chip warehouses here. So right, like things like that. Like look into what you're actually investing in when it comes to AI, and that's where you're going to see your biggest bang for the buck down the long term. Is from a person that's in the industry,
Yeah.
not an expert. I'm not on Bloomberg. I'm not right. Like I'm not on all these stages. I'm just telling you based on the data and what I've seen. Do your own research. That's gonna be the shaker.
Yeah,
Here in a few
yeah.
years. Yeah.
No, that's a good point. I think that's a really good point. So like what I take away from what you're saying is like that companies, technology companies or companies that offer software or some sort of, I think of like the Googles and the Amazon and like even the Apples and specifically the Microsofts, but the companies that provide software, they're going to be able to see higher revenue and profits due to efficiency using AI, the algorithm. So you're saying, but I still think that that's like a good opportunity for,
100%.
yeah, yeah,
100%. But like you said, it works perfectly for the long term because
yeah.
right now it's the investment. Right now it's putting the money in to do these things, right? It's not going to be in 2024, by the end of the year, I'm going to see, 2x of my money.
Right. No.
And some people think that the stock market works like that. You can if you're doing
You,
options, but
yes,
that's
you
a
can
dangerous
if you're doing,
game, right?
I was
Like,
about to say, on certain plays, on certain stocks, on certain funds, you can see that. But now we're getting options
yeah.
now. Listen, that's a different ball game. That's a different ball game.
I personally do not do options.
Okay. I thought you did.
I used to, but
Okay.
your girl reversed hard. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. You just as quick as it can come is just as quick as it can go.
You make one, like, let's be real. You make one wrong playing options, your feelings are hurt.
Yeah, your money is gone. The money that you were playing with is gone. Yeah.
You're down bad. Like,
you're down bad. You're down bad.
Let's just call a spade 100%. Yeah.
I've done like a few. When I say a few, I mean just a few. But what I have been doing within the last couple of months is watching plays and just learning. Watching people make suggestions and watching certain plays. And I'm liking to learn it from a perspective of charting. You know what I'm saying? Like candlesticks and watching trends and, the resistance and, the support lines and like from a data perspective, because in my mind, it's like the more I can learn from the data perspective of options, when and if. No, I'm gonna say when. I'm not gonna say if, because one day I'm gonna make a little play. But like when I'm ready.
Deciding. Look at you.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a play. Actually, there's been a play that I've been eyeing, but again, options like I don't want to hurt my feelings right now. Like
right,
I'm not in a place to be like playing around. You know what I'm saying? So I've been just kind of on the sideline watching, learning more about from a charting and data perspective. And to me, that feels more like a smart approach, because if to me, things on the stock market, it's all data driven. And if you understand how things move and then you can hop in on something that could, really, you could come up, but just as quick as you can come up as you can go down. So I've just been very like hesitant on jumping in the options, but I am learning. I am like listening and watching and sitting on the sidelines, and you can watch plays, or you can like what is like on Robinhood, like you can like kind of get in a play, like it's really called watching. You can watch the play, and so that's been cool and been fun. Because it's no money at stake, What
is it? Paper trading? Is that Robinhood that does that?
Yep, you can do paper trading, but like in Robinhood, like if you go to an option, I think like in the
Baby, we are plugging the crap out of Robinhood. First of all, Robinhood needs to cut a check.
And let me say this, and while we're here, so Robinhood is not like, I do not suggest that people trade long term for retirement on Robinhood, because Robinhood is
absolutely not.
It's a brokerage account. It's just a brokerage account. But when I say brokerage account, it's basically like a bank account for trading, but there's really no tax there's no tax benefits in the ways that say a Roth IRA is, you know. So,
Mm-hmm,
but
mm-hmm.
what I do like about Robinhood is just the really pretty user interface.
I love a good UI.
Oh, it's just so nice. So I love looking at things on Robinhood. And let me say, and also I think these other apps, like I have Fidelity. Fidelity's kind of doing their thing. Like I think they're trying to get better at the user interface because
They were a little outdated.
they're a little outdated,
They were a little
a little
outdated. So
clunky.
I have my 401k with Fidelity,
Yeah,
and I remember logging in one day, and I was like, "Oh, okay, come on, Fidelity,
yeah.
y'all really trying
Oh,
to
they really upped it.
yeah,
Hmm.
y'all really trying to get it together." My least favorite UI is Charles Schwab. My goodness,
Oh my gosh. Yes.
my world on today.
Yeah, it is. It's clunky. It's just
Look,
clunky.
Charles, if y'all listening, that UI is terrible.
You know, and I think they're really trying to do more because I've seen some like small changes, but it's just not, you know, it's like what am I looking at? You know, and it's just clunky in the ways to just
Hmm.
look at, you know, your overall gains or it just is just like it's not that great. So Robinhood, that's one thing I like looking at the trades and the stocks and the plays on there, but I do not suggest that people like put their money there for like long term
Yeah.
investing when it comes to like long term wealth building. I don't think that that is the right move. But hey,
I
I'm not an
no.
advisor
Hey,
again.
look,
Hmm.
I plus one that, but we're not advisors, but
Hey,
I fully agree.
yeah,
But my thing is, any of these companies that are looking for people to invest need to be user friendly, and
yeah.
that's why I think Coinbase is taking off. Not only is crypto a
Oh,
buzzword, but Coinbase is really user friendly, and that makes people engage more. And I
yes,
think some of these, I don't call them antiquated, but some of these older firms, Charles Schwab, um, and the likes, have outdated user experiences that are
yeah,
not keeping up with what our generation, the generation after us, are actually looking for when it
yeah,
comes to interactions. And that's also keeping people from investing because it's like, what am I looking at? What is
yeah.
this?
Right,
Like,
right,
what am I
right.
doing? What am I doing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Charles Schwabs of the world are so, you know, they have been targeted or they're marketing towards like a probably a more savvy investor, one that
Okay.
is making the calls to their advisor on, you know, certain plays and certain trades that is thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars or, you know, large stocks that they're
Mm-hmm.
purchasing
Mm-hmm.
hundreds, you know, stuff like that. But I do think that we're entering in a lot in the stock market. Like even if you watch the I watch Squawk on the Street sometimes, or if you watch any of those like
What is
financial,
Squawker on the
what is he on
street?
like MSNBC, like one of those, you know, those shows that's or
Oh no, I'm familiar with a lot of shows, but I've never watched Squawk on
what?
the Street. Yes.
No. Oh wow.
Maybe
Okay.
I'm a
Well,
Shark Tank lover. I'm
oh
a.
me too. No, Squawk on the Street is a
Are you
market.
Googling it right now?
Yeah, literally, it's just like a market. It's a New York Stock Exchange market show. So he's open during the market day. Like so, they'll have like CEOs, and when it's like earnings reports, that have different companies come. Like it's just a, you
Mm-hmm.
know, they're the stock exchange really. It's
Okay.
he's a character. So anyway, sometimes I watch them, but they'll even talk about how much the retail trading market is changing. Like retail traders like myself and like
Mm-hmm.
you, where you know just everyday people are this younger generation is coming in and becoming savvy and interested in investing. And so I do think that this is going to make a shift in how the user interface looks and like just like relatability to a younger generation
100%.
because
Yeah.
things are moving and unfortunately people are dying out and like you know it's just how the world works like
Yeah.
you know so
I'm excited. I'm excited for the shift. For me, I've moved away from traditional stocks. I'm all about startups, early stage growth companies. I've done a few
ooh
myself. Oh, I love it. And that's where Innovate 33 came from, is because I've been doing it for about 3 years, right?
okay
Working at a Fortune 5, a lot of your compensation is in stocks. And so at first I didn't understand what was happening with stocks. I was like, what's going on? I don't understand. I don't understand. But then I started to realize, like, oh, okay, I see what's happening here. I see what's happening here, but this is not the only way to invest, right? I knew I wasn't an options girl, and options is not my thing. And so I started learning about 3-4 years ago about different ways of investing. And I'm like, what's VCs? What's startup funds? What's private equity? What's happening with all of this? Like, where are these people meeting and putting all this money together to fund all these companies, right?
Yeah.
And so I just I've been on a deep dive for the past like 4 years to really just understand this industry and attend the conferences and really understand what's happening. And my biggest takeaway was that there weren't a lot of people that look like us in these rooms.
I believe that. Because I'm still really not that up to par on like how to invest in startups, and I understand like VCs, but even that is still kind of like,
oh, VCs one is a crazy world. But number two is, for me, I think the strength and the shift that we're going to do with Innovate 33 is we're going to bring it together. The common thread is that a bunch of people come together to invest in a thing, and it is stronger as the whole than as the individual, right?
Yeah.
For
Okay.
example, if you have a company, they're looking to raise $250,000. One person is not going to risk $250,000.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
But if you have a group of people that come together, 5 here, 5 there, 10 there, you get to 250. Right? Now you have a powerful group who have invested in the company. Company does well. Next thing you know, 2 years later, you get a check 5x. Right? Now, based on your original input, you now get a percentage back from your original investment.
Yeah.
But you didn't take on all the risk, one, and you didn't miss out on the opportunity simply because you didn't have $250,000.
Gotcha.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that to me was the beauty. I was like, why aren't we doing this more? Why isn't this happening more?
Yeah.
And as I started to learn about all these companies and funds, they're all men. They're all white men.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was like, oh, no. My girlies is out here winning.
Yeah.
We are out here winning. We are out here changing the game. And so the whole mission is to create a fund that invests in women and minority-led businesses. Period.
I love that.
In
I love
growth
that.
stage though. Because everyone's in startup. Oh, I want to invest in the startup. But after you start, there's a period where you need to grow. You need to take your business to the next level.
Yeah.
And for me, it's my preferred space to be in, because you have historicals, right? So now we can see what gaps you have. Do we need to bring in an advisor? Are you really streamlining your business, right? Like, is your business doing what it needs to do? How can we help you go further, right, outside of just capital? Because capital is one thing, but there's so many other pieces to
You're
making
thinking
the
from the
business successful.
operational stand.
You have the capital, but where are you investing the capital? Is it R&D? Is it product? Is it marketing? Is it branding? Is it hiring? Do you have the right people in here doing the job? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, some people got to go in order for you know what I mean, in order for your business. So that's where that's my baby.
I love that. I love
Yeah,
that so much,
I love it.
Carmelita. So would you say that some of the startups that you are working with, are they product based? Is it service based? Like, what are you finding that you really kind of like to invest in, like the type of business?
That's a good question. So because my history is SaaS,
Yeah.
that's where I find myself leaning. But I will say I'm all about sports and women's sports.
Oh.
That's a door that I'm trying to
Yes.
not trying. That is a door we're going to do the things needed to be done to break into. But right now I'm it's either product based or sports. Yeah. I think women's sports is scratching the surface on what can happen within women's sports, and so that's also a industry that is I've spent the past couple of months just diving into and really meeting with different individuals to understand what's happening, because one thing you should never do is put money where you don't know what's going on. Okay?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Due diligence is important. So yeah, so
Oh, I
because
love
of
that.
my history, SAS of course, but women's sports, I got to. I'm itching. I heard that there was a thought of bringing the Houston team back. I was like,
Oh, I saw that. You're like, yes, come on, WNBA, bring it on back. We ready now.
do a capital call WNBA so I can get some women together and we
Ooh,
can get on this thing.
I see
So,
what you're saying now. Yeah,
see what I did
yeah,
there.
yeah, for sure.
So I'm super excited. I'm super
And it's been an
excited.
incredible year for women's sports.
Oh, it's been
We,
nuts. The
oh,
media rights. Have you seen? It's been insane. We
oh, I
cannot miss
love
out on
that.
this. We cannot
I
miss out
love
on this.
that. Yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
we can't.
Oh my goodness. Okay, Miss Ray Whitney, I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation.
Me
Um,
too.
where get all your handles. Where can everybody find you? What's going on?
Absolutely. So I am on Instagram at Ray Whitney. Ray is spelled Rhea and Whitney Whitney. So connect with me on there. Let me know that you found me on the podcast. I am also a podcast hoster. So I have a podcast. It's called the Ray Whitney Podcast, and you can find that on all platforms: Apple, Spotify, all of the likes of that nature. Most of what I share on my podcast really is focused on creative business owners, really building businesses where they can thrive and sustain themselves and just live a really good life using their creative gifts and talents, and just understand how to become a more confident CEO. So that's
Yes,
kind of
ma'am.
my angle in the world currently right now. But yeah, so Instagram, podcast, connect with me. I would love that so much.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you much. I'm so excited to get this off the ground. I greatly, greatly appreciate you for
Yes,
being my
congratulations
guest number
again.
one. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, I look forward to the next one. See y'all
Yes.
later.